Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Truth Tellin Tuesdays with myself, Deirdre Ryan. I am a certified parent coach and educator, and I work in Cork City with clients one-on-one in person. I also work online. So if you need any support, do get in touch. Check out the website. I've learned now, I'll just put it in the description. You can check it out for ongoing events. So if you need any support, do get in touch. So I really wanted to talk about something that's so important to me, and I'm going to try to keep it very concise because it is something I could talk about for a long time. And it's this idea of attention seeking, right? This notion that attention seeking is a negative, bad behavior that needs to be ignored. It needs to be stomped out, right? And we've got to flip that on its head. That's all I can say. We've got to flip that on its head, right? If a child is attention seeking, if your child is seeking attention, then thank you for being clear. They need attention. They need attention. Attention is not a problem. It's not a bad behavior. It's a human need. I need attention. I'm an adult, right? I have found, as I've grown, I found different ways of asking for that attention that I need. When I was younger, I didn't have the skills. I went about, even as a young adult, in all kinds of ways to get attention that were unhealthy, right? So our children, if they need attention and you feel they're like, oh, that's just attention seeking, but like, great, I know what they need. Let me give them some attention, right? In whatever way you can. It's really, really powerful. Again, it's not negative. It's not bad behavior, right? If we used that term with something else, what if we said they were connection seeking? If you're like, oh, that's just connection seeking behavior, I'm not going to give them anyway. I don't want them to think that they can seek that connection that way, and I'm just going to give it to them, right? What if it was love seeking behavior? Again, like you're like, that's love seeking behavior. I'm going to withdraw love, right? To teach them that they can't seek love in that way. That's not socially appropriate. It's not acceptable. I'm not comfortable with the way they're seeking that love. So I'm going to give them none because that will teach them that they can't seek love in that way. I just really want you to hear what if we follow through these thoughts about attention seeking behavior being negative and need to be ignored and our love withdrawn and just ignore them. It's devastating. It's illogical. It's not human. It's unkind. We wouldn't do it to a friend. It's not okay. I just feel so strongly about it. We need to reframe that. Again, if our children they're children, or even young teens, adolescents, right? Don't forget when our kids are going through the teens and adolescents, which goes on to the mid to late 20s, right? So the brain is rewiring itself faster and with more brain changes than they had even in their early infancy, right? So these are massive shifts, massive changes. There is a lot going on for babies, for toddlers, for young kids, for teens, adolescents. There is a lot going on for them, right? We are the adults. We're the adults. We're not going through that at this time, not to the same level, right? We have a bigger picture. We have lived experience. We have more capacity, right? We have the ability to be flexible in these situations. A child in distress who is seeking attention in a way that a parent might find inappropriate or upsetting, they don't have the skills or the capacity or the wisdom or the bigger picture. They can't be flexible. They can't on a dime just change this automatic response they're having, right? They can't just squish down the feelings and be able to ask for the attention in a socially appropriate way or a way that makes the parent feel comfortable. They don't have that. But we are the adults. We can be more flexible, right? We can translate what they really need, right? We can come in and empathize. We can validate them in those moments. We can also teach them other ways of getting their needs met, right? When they're not distressed. But we need to first come in and acknowledge them, not deem this as an attention-seeking behavior and then ignore it. I hear that so much, and it breaks my heart every time. It breaks my heart every time. It breaks my heart for myself as an adult, for myself as a younger child or a teen, right? Again, we're the translators. We're the translators, right? So if you're feeling your child is attention-seeking, and you have this term because the culture has given you this term, and the culture may have also said, so that's the time when you just ignore them, right? Really think that through. Think that down the line a few steps. What does that mean? What is your child internalizing, right? Is your child learning to ask for something differently? Is your child learning how to show up in the world differently? Or are they learning that maybe they're not valued? Maybe they're not important. Maybe when they're having big emotions, they don't deserve love, right? This is what we're really teaching kids if we go down that path. And I know it's not anything any of us consciously want to do, right? But we have to think these things a few steps down the line, right? And that idea of punishing children in that moment or ignoring them, right, it's really devastating. That's all I can say. That's all I can really say about it. And I'm, as I said, trying to keep it really concise, because this shift away from, attention seeking being a negative to, into attention seeking being, again, that this may not be the way you want them to ask for attention, but this is how they're doing it. It's what they have in the moment. It's the best they can do in the moment. They're acting like children because they are children. They don't have these higher order thinking skills yet. They don't have the ability to process all the information. They're living a lot more in the moment, a lot more from amygdalas, especially teens. They're living from their emotional center, right? They don't, just because they have it sometimes, and they can, maybe as a teen, they can have very clear rational thought, they can debate, they can do all that. They're not always going to be in that space, right? So again, it's like just acknowledging, wow, I see where you are. I hear you. Wow, I see you need something here. How can I help you? I'm coming in, right? And yeah, and in the other times it's like, here's a few other strategies, right? It's like maybe starting to see there's some lagging skills here, or maybe we haven't directly taught it in your family how to get your needs met. Maybe look at how you as the adult get your needs met, right? Are you able to just go and state it to someone, right? I wasn't. I would almost get really sick or almost create some sort of drama so that I could get help. Do you know what I mean? It's like if we don't have the skills, if we haven't been taught the skills, if we don't feel safe enough to use the skills, what are we going to do? Because again, we all need attention. So just next time you're like, oh, that feels like attention seeking, be like, yes, fantastic. Thank you for being clear. I know what they need. Let me give them attention, right? And it's not, and let me show up, let me connect with them, right? It doesn't, and a lot of people, you hear that idea that, well, if I do that, they're going to learn to do that every time they want something. The truth is they won't, right? When you're empathized with, and when you're connected with, and then when you're taught other ways of having your needs met, it's much kinder on the child as well to have the capacity and the skills to ask for help in some way. I remember when the kids were little, that idea, they come over and you're talking with your friends, and they put, they're like, mom, 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 it's one of those things probably maybe people call attention seeking, I don't know, but it's like, and the idea is that the kid would come over and put their arm here, right, on your arm, and you would put your hand over there, so they knew, and then they had the capacity to wait. Now, you wouldn't leave them there for 20 minutes, right? But it's just, I see you, I hear you, you have a need, it's valid, right? I'm here, I'm going to finish this little thing here, and I'm coming to you, right? It's not just ignoring, because we know if it's ignored, it gets louder. If humans have needs and they're ignored, they just become bigger and louder, right? Even in our bodies. I have experiences personally. If I'm ignoring what's going on inside of my body, it gets louder and louder and louder till I pay attention, right? So again, it's a human need to receive attention and be paid attention to and validated. And that's what we really want to teach. Yeah, I really could talk about it for hours, but I just think I'm going to leave it there. Maybe next week we'll talk about manipulation, because they seem to go hand in hand, that our kids are manipulating us, right? What a power statement that is, and really, I'm going to say it's the parents. If you want to talk about manipulation, we're the ones that are doing more of the manipulating, right? We're getting them to eat when we want, go where we want, talk how we want, sleep when we want, right? It's like if you want to really look at it that way, so I think let's really shift. Let's keep shifting, right? Away from these old cultural stories that serve no one, right? We want to raise kids who are emotionally able and connected with themselves and love themselves and feel seen, heard, understood, accepted, valued, appreciated, supported. We all want to feel those things, right? So let's reframe. Let's put that back in the driver's seat. Let's shoot from there. Get clear on your values, and parent from your values. I think it's the most crucial thing we can do. So next time, anyone, if you hear it, and you'll probably hear it, or you might feel it in yourself, because we've grown up in this culture and we say, oh, it's attention seeking. That's bad. They're bad. They're what? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but next time you feel it, just remember this conversation and just tune in. See what's going on for you. What's bringing this reaction in you, because the kids are just doing something, right? That's separate. You're having a reaction, that's separate, right? So what's going on for you? Translate what's really going on for them. If you feel they need connection, love, support, attention, please find a way to meet them where they are and give them what they need, right? And also, then you can, by doing that, by connecting, by kids knowing that they'll be seen and heard, that their needs will be met, they have more capacity to explore other avenues and options, right? So let's just keep all that in mind and also notice, right? Because I think a lot of kids learn pretty fast, right? Because it's not attention seeking or manipulative. It's actually solid learning. That if I say, a child comes to me quietly and was like, oh, Mom, can you play with me? And we're like, okay, yeah, I'm just going to finish this email. I just have to do this. I'm just going to vacuum the floor and then I'll come, right? We may not respond when they ask us in those types of ways, right? If the kid is screaming, there's a more immediate response, so they may be getting that in another way. So let's look at our own behaviors. Let's start noticing when they come to us, how do we respond, in which different ways, right? And then again, just if they need attention, please give them attention, right? And support them. And I know people are like, oh, that's, it's not giving in to them. It's not like, what even is that, giving into them? Like, we're adults. Let's remember, we're not on equal power levels. We're adults and they're children. And I don't mean that in a, like, all equally valuable, right? It's not, but we have the bigger pictures. We do ultimately have more of the control, so it's not giving in, right? It's not giving in. It's not a power struggle between us and our kids or us and our adolescents, right? Let's start to let that fizzle away. It's get clear on what are they really asking for us. Get clear on how we're responding. Get clear on what that might be bringing up in us, right? If you were, as a child, you didn't get your needs met, or you were invalidated, or you were told you were attention seeking and we're going to ignore you, that will come right to the surface. It will come right to the surface, and it will be as painful for you now as it was then, right? And the tendency then is to reenact it. So again, noticing what's coming up, loving Dr. Kristen Neff's work, do that for yourself, maybe before you respond. 3 steps of compassion, self-compassion, right? And meet the child where they are and support them in the moment in whatever, again, attention seeking is often it's a distress response too. So meet them there. And of course, the more we validate and hold that space for our kids, the more capacity they have, right? And we also teach other ways. We give them strategies. If we don't give them strategies or teach them strategies, they will come up with their own ones. They are like little scientists. They will use the ones that get the most effective response. That's great. That's great. Isn't that the way it should be, right? So let's get in there and teach them. It's like, oh yeah, when when I'm doing this and you need that, here are things we can do. Here are things we can be parallel. Here are ways I can still help you meet your needs as well as my own. There are so many strategies and ways, and we can talk through millions of them. Get in touch, if you're struggling with that, because we want to raise our children. Oh, I don't know how to say it, but I'm going to say in the new way where they are seen and heard. Remember, it's a lot of the behavioral ideas of Skinner's work out of, Victorian era ways where we didn't, it's like just a firm handshake will do, children should be seen and not heard. Like these things have all evolved. So we have to start unpicking those beliefs about children and who and what they are and what they need, and start moving into this new way. And it is transformative. So I just want to wish you all love, and I want to wish each and every one of you as a parent, if you need attention, I wish you the most beautiful, effective, loving, authentic way to have your needs met as well, to get the attention you need, because you also need attention, right? So let us all just sit comfortably into our humanity. So much love. I will see you next week. Bye.